A Granby family lost their home in a house fire just before Christmas. I'm Kate Kelly with how the community is coming together to help them get back on their feet.
Plus, the holiday season and New Year brings some recurring fire hazard concerns to four-state firefighters. So the Joplin Fire Department has some tips on staying safe. Plus, it's an age-old holiday question. When's the right time to take down those Christmas decorations? You'll learn what some decorating pros in Carl Junction think. Meteorologist Nick Kelly has your weather. I'm Mike Mahoney, and this is your KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
Well, thanks so much for tuning in. Earlier this week, just a few days before Christmas, a Granby, Missouri family lost all their possessions and their home to a devastating fire. Today, the family is reflecting on their loss, leaning on each other, and thanking their community for the help they've gotten so far. KOAM's Kate Kelly has the story.
For the past 17 years, Dan Black has called this house home. He and his wife Virginia, or Jenny as he calls her, just celebrated their 13th anniversary together. They both say there's no other place they'd rather be.
It's just a beautiful, good place to live. And I met Jenny and she fell in love with me and the place. Or maybe it was the place in me. I don't know.
Their love and faith is still very much intact, even if their house isn't.
God was there. He watched over us. Jared White was our guardian angel.
On December 22nd, Jared White, a nearby neighbor and volunteer fireman, alerted the Blacks to the smoke coming from their home. He helped Dan and Virginia safely evacuate, along with 2 small children and 3 other family members living in the basement.
We're still examining everything that's still within what we call our area of origin at this point, so we haven't quite determined the cause of the fire yet.
No matter the cause, officials are calling this place a total loss. The Black family is glad they made it out okay, but they are still mourning the loss of some of their pets.
We had 6 kitty cats. Tina had 2, and we lost all of them. And that was so sad to think about them.
Even though this family has lost a lot, they have each other and the support of the community. People donated dozens of items to make their Christmas possible.
They brought so many toys for the kids for Christmas. They brought so many clothes for them. They brought clothes for us. They brought food yesterday for our Christmas dinner.
We can't say enough for how our combined communities have been helping us. And many are people we know that are friends, and many aren't.
In Granby, Kate Kelly, KOAM News.
The family is staying at the Boonslick Lodge in Neosho, but looking for an inexpensive rental property till they can have a new place to set up on their land. And if you'd like to help out, please give Virginia a call at 417-346-7465. As the Christmas season wraps up and kids and parents begin to enjoy their new toys and electronics, it's important to think about how to properly handle those items so they don't cause a fire. The Joplin Fire Department says it happens every year. Electronics are mishandled, resulting in an electrical fire in the home. Joplin Fire officials say those electric gadgets are at their potentially most dangerous when they are charging, as electronics have gotten smaller and the process of cooling down is tougher. They say not to charge electronics on any surface that could retain the device's heat, since that could start a fire.
Some of your older houses, they weren't designed for as many electronics as we have today, so make sure you're not plugging too many things into one circuit, and really it's just important to keep everything where it has room to get the air to keep the item cool.
Captain Job added that going into January, the department's biggest fire safety tip is heaters that are plugged in inside the home. Watch out for those. Authorities are investigating a fatal crash in Ottawa County. The Oklahoma Highway Patrol says the crash happened a little after 2 a.m. on County Road 565, about 2 miles north of Commerce. Troopers are still trying to determine what caused the crash. The driver was pronounced dead at the scene, and the victim's name is being withheld at this time. All right, here's meteorologist Nick Kelly with a look at your first weather.
This is the big difference once again, Mike. Just within the span of a day, we went from a cold Christmas day, which hopefully everybody enjoyed, to kind of a mild Saturday afternoon. We started at 38 this morning, topped out around 65, 20 degrees above norm for this time of the year. but 6 shy of the record high of 71 set back in 2008. We've had quiet skies all evening long. In fact, mostly sunny skies to start the evening out, rather mostly clear skies since the sun sets well before the evening begins at this time of the year. But we are seeing some cloud cover trying to sneak in. That's all we'll see, really, throughout the course of the night. And thankfully, the cloud cover limits how cold we get. Most spots around Joplin around 44. Some spots northwest of town will be in the mid to upper 30s. But everyone should go back into the mid 50s tomorrow with a quick front on the way through. But I'm watching a stronger system by Tuesday that could shake things up a bit for us, Mike. We'll break that down for you here in a bit.
Sounds like a plan, Nick. Thanks so much. All right, I know that Christmas is in the rearview mirror, but a holiday debate is still alive and well here in the four-state area and just about everywhere that people celebrate Christmas. When is the right time to take down your Christmas decorations? There's no shortage of opinions on that question, but we wanted to know what some local pros think, so we went over to Carl Junction and spoke to the Dyer family, whose house is absolutely decked out in cool Christmas decorations. They've even got folks stopping by to take photos, but when will all this cool holiday decor disappear?
We always take them down after New Year's. That's just how we've always done it. So.
How far past after New Year's?
Just the day after.
The Dyer dad says it only takes a day to take down and put away all that Christmas gear, but it did take him most of the month of November to get everything into place. Personally, I think the house that we just showed you in Carl Junction takes the cake, but you still have to see this home in La Mirada, California, that was decorated to look like the Griswold home from the famous flick National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. The house recreates the movie's look of a Christmas gone haywire and has been attracting plenty of passerbys who stop to take pictures. The home's owner says he sees a lot of similarities between his family and the Griswold clan.
It was really the same way that our family was, the same thing. Your family's coming unannounced and leaving when they want.
I need to watch that movie again. The home's owner says he spent around $100,000 during the last 4 years recreating the movie's look. It's now time for us to pay tribute to one of our many four-state heroes. And tonight, we recognize Dalton Parks of Lamar, Missouri. Parks served as a corporal in the U.S. Army and fought in Afghanistan in Operation Enduring Freedom. Thank you, sir, for your courage and for fighting for freedom. For more information on all our four-state heroes or to nominate your own, just log on to KOAMNewsNow.com. And we'll be right back with meteorologist Nick Kelly and another look at your weather. Plus, flooding continues in parts of England, and now hundreds of people are stranded. We've got the latest from the UK right after weather.
Hopefully everybody had a great Saturday. We enjoyed much warmer temperatures compared to the cold Christmas day that we saw. Still doesn't change the fact that we still look nice from indigo sky. At the time lapse outside of Seneca, Missouri showed some cloud cover earlier in the day. Then we were just bouncing back and forth between partly and mostly sunny skies. Again, it was quite a difference that a day can make around here. Lower teens for Christmas morning, highs in the upper 30s for your Christmas day. And then we just started out in the upper 30s this morning and topped out in the mid-60s. Those days are pretty hard to come by, but we're going to see temperatures start to trend downward over the next few days, setting us up for our next storm system taking aim at us by Tuesday and Wednesday. In the meantime, though, still quiet as can be, 54 degrees with quiet skies up top, but a south wind at 17 miles per hour. That's really going to make a difference in temperatures for tonight. Right now, though, we are still seeing temperatures mainly in the lower to middle 50s across the Joplin Metro, between 51 and 55 in general. But the farther north you go from Joplin and Pittsburgh, we're seeing some upper 40s popping up already. So it gives you a hint that we're set for mainly a cool night across much of the area. Some spots northwest of town will be in the upper 30s, while the rest of us will be in the lower to middle 40s as we see cloud cover continue to skirt on by as it continues to stream out of western and central northern parts of Kansas. All ahead of a couple of cold fronts headed our way. We had a warm front lift through today that gave us, thankfully, that mild Saturday afternoon to enjoy. But front number 1 rolls into tomorrow straight from the Rockies. Front number 2 comes in on Monday for lower 40s on Monday. All of that setting us up for our next storm system, the brunt of it, still out in the Pacific. That's going to be our next best shot for mainly rain Tuesday and Wednesday. But we'll have to watch temperatures as that system rolls in. I'll show you what I mean in a moment. In the meantime, though, the future track still looking quiet as can be. Granted, cloud cover still coming and going for some of you, but we'll just keep things mainly on the cool side, with some spots northwest of Joplin being the exception, maybe some mid to upper 30s to start the morning up, but most of you will start rather right around 44 degrees. Then a little bit cooler for tomorrow with that first front on the way. 53 by noon, but the northwest wind means highs only get to 57 in Joplin, mainly mid to upper 50s across much of the region. Northwest of Joplin, let's say lower to middle 50s in some parts of southeast Kansas. So we're quiet on Sunday to wrap up this weekend. Quiet mainly for Monday, but cloud cover really picks up ahead of that next wave coming in from the west. Rain chances start to pick up Tuesday morning, but for some of you flirting with the freezing mark, we can see a little freezing rain trying to mix in, still up in the air, so we'll have to watch the system closely. Then mainly rain chances for the rest of Tuesday and going into Wednesday. Then, as much colder air rolls in on Wednesday before the system leaves, we could see rain go to a mix of rain and snow by Wednesday afternoon and potentially Wednesday evening. So even though we're looking at mainly rain Tuesday and Wednesday, that's the next big storm system to keep an eye on. But 57 tomorrow, staying dry, 41 Monday, rain and possible wintry weather Tuesday and Wednesday. Then we'll just keep things cold to wrap up the year. Mike?
Well, thanks as always, Nick. And Nick, I have got some weather news that is outside our neck of the woods. Massive flooding has left hundreds of people stranded in England. Evacuation centers were set up in Bedfordshire today after heavy rainfall caused the Ouse River to overflow. Some 1,300 homes are being affected by the floods. Weather forecasts say that this is just the start, as bad weather should continue through the weekend. More rain is expected and winds could reach up to 70 miles per hour. Rough holiday weather wasn't limited to the UK, however. Powerful overnight storms headed into Christmas Day caused a lot of property damage and power problems in the Northeast. This footage comes from Glen Rock, New Jersey, where storms with fierce winds took down trees and power lines, some of which smashed into rooftops. Utility companies have moved into the area to restore power and mitigate the danger from the fallen lines. They say tens of thousands of residents have lost power during the storm. Still to come, we have got the latest on the Christmas Day downtown Nashville bombing.
Authorities in Nashville are looking for any information they can find about the explosion that occurred on Christmas Day. I'm Charles Watson in Nashville. I've got the details coming up.
Federal authorities are asking the public for assistance in their investigation into the Nashville Christmas Day explosion. Fox News' Charles Watson has the latest from Nashville, Tennessee.
Nashville is safe. We feel and know that we have no known threats at this time against our city.
The heart of Nashville's downtown tourist scene almost deserted. Nearby buildings suffered significant damage and police sealed off the area after an RV blew up early Christmas morning. It's an explosion police say was deliberate.
Having been up there and seen that scene, it's like a giant jigsaw puzzle created by a bomb that throws pieces of evidence across multiple city blocks.
Metro Nashville police say officers responded after receiving a report of gunfire. When they arrived, they found an RV playing a recording warning a bomb would detonate in 15 minutes. Police cleared the area and called the bomb squad.
But then within 10 minutes, I was laying in bed and there was just the biggest explosion I've ever heard.
Witnesses said the explosion shattered glass, knocked down trees, and shook and damaged buildings. One of the officers was blown off his feet during the blast, but no serious injuries were reported. Authorities say 3 people went to the hospital, although none are in critical condition.
Now, at the end of the day, I think all of us, I certainly have gone from relief that there were not more casualties.
The driver parked the RV right in downtown in a major tourist area and in front of the AT&T building. AT&T says the explosion damaged its facilities, affecting service for some of its customers in the area. The FBI and ATF are leading this investigation with more law enforcement officials to arrive in the coming days. In Nashville, Tennessee, Charles Watson, Fox News.
Still to come, a potential government shutdown is looming. If President Trump decides to veto the coronavirus stimulus package, which is tied to a large omnibus spending deal, the government would shut down on Monday night. We're taking a closer look coming up. Welcome back to your News at 9. If President Trump decides to veto the coronavirus stimulus package, which is tied to a large omnibus spending deal, the government would shut down late Monday night. Fox News' Chad Pergram has more from our nation's capital.
If the president doesn't sign the bill, the government could shut down Monday night. Congress approved a 4th stopgap measure to run through Monday. That bought Congress time to assemble the massive 5,600-page COVID government funding bill and avert a shutdown then. But the president's opposition caught everyone off guard.
I'm also asking Congress to immediately get rid of the wasteful and unnecessary items from this legislation.
The president entered the fray from time to time and seemed to undercut his negotiator, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, often proclaiming he wanted more.
I would like to see a bigger stimulus package, frankly, than either the Democrats or the Republicans are offering.
Liberals pushed for $1,200 stimulus checks.
We have half of our population working day to day, living paycheck to paycheck, trying to survive.
But Democrats settled on only $600 in direct payments because Republicans opposed anything higher. The crisis is a familiar holiday tune. 2 years ago, lawmakers thought they had an agreement with the president to fund the government just before Christmas.
The nays are 21, with Rudolph responding present.
But by morning, the president announced his opposition, and the government shuttered for more than a month. This time, the possibility of a shutdown is very real. The House plans to move an interim spending bill on Monday night, just hours before the government runs out of cash. But the Senate isn't even scheduled to meet until Tuesday. The Constitution requires the president to sign or veto a bill within 10 days, Sundays excluded. But this bill hits his desk right before the end of a congressional session. So it's possible President Trump could ignore the bill. The president never outright said he would veto the bill, and he may not have to. It's called a pocket veto. The president takes the bill and puts it in his pocket. The congressional session ends on January 3rd, and it's as though the bill never happened. On Capitol Hill, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
When we return, we are taking a quick trip to Italy, specifically the ancient city of Pompeii. That's because archaeologists have made an amazing new discovery which sheds a bit more light on life in a city that was eventually destroyed by a volcano. We'll be right back. A new discovery was made in the ancient city of Pompeii today. Archaeologists working in the city buried during a volcanic eruption in 79 AD uncovered a hot food and drinks shop. They are comparing the finding to a modern-day street food vendor. The shop featured a decorated counter which showed off some of the ingredients in the food that the shop sold, like rooster and duck. Archaeologists even discovered some traces of some almost 2,000-year-old food. Well, don't go anywhere. We've got a lot more news headed your way, as well as another weather update from meteorologist Nick Kelly. It's all coming up right here on your KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. And when we return, there are a lot of people out there who really hate face masks. You'll learn about a Texas bar bouncer who was attacked and sent to the hospital just for asking a customer to wear a mask. Details are coming up. Welcome back to your News at 9. An employee at a Houston bar says he was violently attacked by a customer, which sent him to the hospital to get numerous stitches in his head. He says it all started because he asked the guy to wear a face mask. Fox News' Natalie He has more on the assault.
He was coming out of the bathroom and I was like, hey man, put the mask on or you got to go. And he just started running at me.
Josh Vaughn has worked security at Grand Prize Bar in the Museum District off and on for nearly 7 years. Over time, he's dealt with a lot of pushback from patrons who don't want to wear a mask, but has never been violently attacked like he was Monday night.
I was bleeding out of my head and I was on the way to the hospital.
Around 9:30 p.m., Josh says the man walked into Grand Prize Bar and appeared annoyed that he was asked repeatedly by staff to put his mask on while inside. After the third time, the man came out of the bathroom, ran toward Josh, and smashed a whiskey glass on his head, sending him straight to the hospital, bleeding profusely. Managers say that man was then caught on video, speeding away in this unidentified dark-colored SUV. Josh says he had to undergo a CT scan and now has 10 stitches in his head and a constant headache.
I don't think I could ever be made angry enough to do that to somebody, to smash a glass in someone's face, no matter what, especially over something like that, a stranger, somebody that you don't know telling you to wear a mask.
Grand Prize Bar says they filed a police report and tracked down the name on the man's tab, which they say appears to not be his real name. As for Josh, he's taking a few days off, but has one simple message for his attacker.
Wear a mask. Have some respect for the people around you and wear a mask. If wearing a mask is that big of a deal, stay home.
We'll be right back with meteorologist Nick Kelly and another look at your weather. Don't go anywhere.
Hopefully everybody had a great Saturday. We enjoyed much warmer temperatures compared to the cold Christmas day that we saw. Still doesn't change the fact that we still look nice from indigo sky. At the time lapse outside of Seneca, Missouri showed some cloud cover earlier in the day. Then we were just bouncing back and forth between partly and mostly sunny skies. Again, it was quite a difference that a day can make around here. Lower teens for Christmas morning, highs in the upper 30s for your Christmas day. And then we just started out in the upper 30s this morning and topped out in the mid-60s. Those days are pretty hard to come by, but we're going to see temperatures start to trend downward over the next few days, setting us up for our next storm system taking aim at us by Tuesday and Wednesday. In the meantime, though, still quiet as can be, 54 degrees with quiet skies up top, but a south wind at 17 miles per hour. That's only going to make a difference in temperatures for tonight. Right now, though, we are still seeing temperatures mainly in the lower to middle 50s across the Joplin Metro, between 51 and 55 in general. But the farther north you go from Joplin and Pittsburgh, we're seeing some upper 40s popping up already. So it gives you a hint that we're set for mainly a cool night across much of the area. Some spots northwest of town will be in the upper 30s, while the rest of us will be in the lower to middle 40s as we see cloud cover continue to skirt on by as it continues to stream out of western and central northern parts of Kansas. All ahead of a couple of cold fronts headed our way. We had a warm front lift through today that gave us, thankfully, that mild Saturday afternoon to enjoy. But front number 1 rolls in tomorrow straight from the Rockies. Front number 2 comes in on Monday for lower 40s on Monday. All of that setting us up for our next storm system, the brunt of it, still out in the Pacific. That's going to be our next best shot for mainly rain Tuesday and Wednesday. But we'll have to watch temperatures as that system rolls in. I'll show you what I mean in a moment. In the meantime, though, the future track still looking quiet as can be. Granted, cloud cover still coming and going for some of you, but we'll just keep things mainly on the cool side, with some spots northwest of Joplin being the exception. Maybe some mid to upper 30s to start the morning up, but most of you will start rather right around 44 degrees. Then a little bit cooler for tomorrow with that first front on the way. 53 by noon, but the northwest wind means highs only get to 57 in Joplin, mainly mid to upper 50s across much of the region. Northwest of Joplin, let's say lower to middle 50s in some parts of southeast Kansas. So we're quiet on Sunday to wrap up this weekend. Quiet mainly for Monday, but cloud cover really picks up ahead of that next wave coming in from the west. Rain chances start to pick up Tuesday morning, but for some of you flirting with the freezing mark, we can see a little freezing rain trying to mix in, still up in the air, so we'll have to watch the system closely. Then mainly rain chances for the rest of Tuesday and going into Wednesday. Then, as much colder air rolls in on Wednesday before the system leaves, we could see rain go to a mix of rain and snow by Wednesday afternoon and potentially Wednesday evening. So even though we're looking at mainly rain Tuesday and Wednesday, that's the next big storm system to keep an eye on. But 57 tomorrow, staying dry, 41 Monday, rain and possible wintry weather Tuesday and Wednesday. Then we'll just keep things cold to wrap up the year. Mike?
Well, thanks again, Nick. And Nick, you know, we don't have a sports block tonight, but I do have a sports story. LeBron James has made his way into the record books yet again. Today, the Associated Press announced that LeBron was the winner of the AP's Male Athlete of the Year award for a record-tying 4th time. All things considered, 2020 was a pretty good year for LeBron. He also won a 4th NBA title for the Lakers, as well as an NBA Finals MVP trophy. So at least someone had a good year. When we return, we're going to take a look back at this year in politics. 2020 brought us an impeachment, racial unrest, a presidential election, and a losing president in denial, as well as a pandemic that turned everyday life on its head. We'll be right back. 2020 will go down as one of the most consequential years of the 21st century, and in American politics, it's one that will be studied for years to come. The country witnessed an impeachment, racial unrest, a presidential election, and a losing president in denial, as well as a pandemic that upended everyday life. Fox News' Lauren Blanchard takes a look back at the year in politics.
Eventually, it all ended, the 2020 election, and yes, this tumultuous political year itself. There were plenty of fireworks and celebrations for President-elect Joe Biden and the first woman to become Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. It started like any other election year with the Iowa caucuses, but this being 2020, things quickly went off script with Democrats unable to say who won for days. Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg both claimed victory.
So what I want to do today, 3 days late, is to thank the people of Iowa.
It was clear this was going to be an election year like no other.
God bless America. Thank you very much.
Even the president's State of the Union speech felt fraught. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi let it be known what she thought of it. Then, just days later, the Senate ended President Trump's impeachment ordeal with an acquittal. Democrats tried to rebound from their Iowa debacle in New Hampshire, and voters there sent Joe Biden packing before the polls even closed. He finished 5th. Biden went straight to South Carolina and won the state, and then 10 more on Super Tuesday, taking his first real steps toward the White House. And then the virus changed everything. Suddenly, a campaign on pause. No more rallies.
I'm not going to do it if I think it's going to be negative at all.
Cities and states shut down.
Our job collectively is to stay at home, keep social distancing, and flatten the hell out of that curve.
Unemployment skyrocketed. Congress spent much of the year trying to prop up the economy with trillions of dollars in relief packages, but haggled over the details, leaving cities in the lurch.
Washington is doing absolutely nothing.
Joe Biden rebooted his campaign from home. While in Oklahoma, the president held his first rally since the coronavirus restrictions. When Biden did venture out to hold a rally, he did it drive-in style to honks of approval.
Honk if you think it's a bunch of malarkey. He's lying.
Even the party's political conventions were done differently. Instead of Milwaukee, Kamala Harris accepted her historic nomination in an empty Delaware auditorium, while Joe Biden accepted his in a nearby school library. And instead of Charlotte, President Trump accepted his nomination on a packed White House South lawn. Over summer, tensions erupted. Coast-to-coast protests broke out over the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and others.
Breonna Taylor!
It sparked a movement to defund police departments and pushed police reform bills in Congress. Civil rights icon and Georgia Congressman John Lewis came to see D.C.'s new Black Lives Matter Plaza just weeks before succumbing to cancer. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg lost her fight against cancer, and President Trump quickly nominated and the Senate confirmed Amy Coney Barrett. A crowded Rose Garden ceremony for Barrett turned out to be a super spreader for coronavirus. President Trump himself tested positive in October. The president recovered and was back at the White House within days.
Now, make sure, will you shut up, man?
Listen,
Before he tested positive, President Trump took part in a presidential debate. His performance was widely criticized.
This is so unprecedented.
The debates were not game changers, but mail-in balloting may have been. Millions more voted in 2020 than ever before, and while it took a few days to declare a winner, eventually Pennsylvania put Joe Biden over the top.
They've delivered us a clear victory, a convincing victory.
President Trump refused to concede and spent the rest of 2020 launching legal fights to contest the results. There is more uncertainty as the new year begins. Senate control is still up for grabs, and we don't know yet if President Trump will attend his successor's inauguration. But we'll be here to bring it all to you in 2021. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
We'll be right back with more news. Welcome back. This Christmas, some Arizona kids in foster care got a whole lot more than a one-horse open sleigh. They actually got to get up close and personal with some farm animals and ride with horses. The event was all about finding a home on the range, even if these kids don't have a family home just yet. Fox News' Irene Snyder checked it out.
Well, animals really are great therapy. The kids' eyes just lit up when they saw the horses like Clarabelle right here. But a lot of these kids are in the Crisis Intervention Center, so they didn't have anywhere to go this Christmas. And the animals, well, they're just showing them some love.
It just fills your whole body with energy and joy.
It may not be a sleigh ride, but these kids are having a pretty fun time out on the farm this Christmas. Many of them chomping at the bit to hitch a ride.
They wanted to gallop like horses, so I was holding their hands and we were galloping to the arena like horses.
And these kids deserve all the fun they can get, because during a year when many are forced to spend the holiday away from extended family and friends, these kids don't have any home at all.
They're living in shelters, so they don't have even a foster family right now.
The kids are in the Child Crisis Center, some of them taken away recently, others have been in the shelter for some time.
To not have your home on Christmas Day, to not have the people that know and love you on Christmas Day. And they might be safer, but it's still different, and that's a change.
That's why Tara created this program, Christmas on the Farm, 19 years ago.
It started with just my brother and I loading up horses and sitting outside of a homeless shelter until the kids woke up so they could wake up to horses in their backyard on Christmas.
And today that program is still going strong at Hoonkoppy Farm in Scottsdale.
It's moved me year after year. It changes the way they feel inside, and that's what we want to be able to do, is to have a feeling of desperation or lack of hope turn to hope and turn to love.
And it's a love for the kids that inspires Tara to keep the tradition going year after year.
It's been my Christmas for the last 19 years, and I hope it is for the next 19 years.
And the farm does have plenty of other events throughout the year, and they're always looking for volunteers to help with those programs.
Earlier in the show, we showed you some houses with incredible Christmas decorations on the outside. Now let's take things indoors. A North Carolina couple kept the joy of Christmas in their hearts and all around their house with hundreds of Santa figurines. Liz and Jimmy Owens love Christmas, but I think they love Santa Claus even more. Dancing Santas, ceramic Santas, plastic Santas, cardboard Santas, and more can be found throughout their house and all over their furniture. The couple currently has about 1,000 Santas in their home, although they admit they have lost count. Liz and Jimmy say they normally put their collection away in January, but they're in no hurry to do so this year. A group of chefs in Detroit spent the holiday season helping those in need. As part of the Make Food Not Waste organization, the group made meals for more than 1,000 families this Christmas. Fox News' Randy Wimbley takes a closer look at the kind gesture.
What do we have right here?
So we have mango chicken curry.
Ooh. A handful of chefs are cooking up holiday cheer at Marygrove College for a number of families who could use a helping hand.
A lot of folks don't know they're loved, and this is an act of love.
Lead chef Phil Jones is from Make Food Not Waste, an organization whose mission is its name.
If you think about the number of calories that we waste and just throw away, 40% of our food never makes it to a home, never makes it to a dinner table, never makes it to a refrigerator. It's just thrown out. So we're saving that stuff.
But this Christmas, these meals will make it to at least 1,000 families in Detroit negatively impacted by the pandemic. Jones estimates that's roughly 5,000 to 6,000 people.
And every dollar, every dime that you can save and not spend on food can go to all these other bills that we're experiencing now. We know that people need to pay their rent, people need to pay for their lights and heat, and take care of their families in general. So allowing them to be able to focus their money in other places is really the goal, and to let people know that they're cared about.
Chef Ederic Gaudia from Gabriel Hall crafted the holiday menu.
The families will get mango chicken curry along with the rice pilaf, sauteed collard greens, dill butter carrots, and sweet potato bake.
I think in the holiday season, it would be great to make sure that families are fed healthy meals, and it doesn't have to be frozen collards. It can be fresh collards.
And like the families they're serving, these chefs were also hit hard by the pandemic, but are willingly sacrificing their time to help others in need.
They're giving of themselves, and like I said, black women are the nurturers of our community. They could be anywhere, they could be doing their catering, but they put in a lot of time and a lot of effort, and it goes to show that they actually, it's all really about the community, it's about people, it's about family.
We're not done yet here on your KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. And we've got a treat headed your way if you are an animal lover. We are checking out the best or maybe funniest animal videos of 2020, and we'll be right back in just 2 quick minutes. Welcome back. One of the weekend show's regular viewers, Mary Machado, recently told me how much she enjoys the animal stories we feature here around the end of our broadcasts. So tonight, for Mary and for all the other 4-state animal lovers out there, let's take a look back at some of this year's best animal videos.
Is it time for dinner? Are you ready for this?
Yes! 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 I'm wall-to-wall raccoons.
All right, I think this will be my last holiday-themed story of 2020, but don't quote me on that. 2 nurses found some creative ways to help moms knit their hearts to their newborns in Florida. Lori Schaefer and Pat Vicino brought the holiday spirit to new moms at St. Lucie Medical Center in Port St. Lucie. The pair hand-knitted Santa-themed baby onesies and hats for each baby delivered during the coronavirus pandemic. The two realized the pandemic was putting added stress on expecting mothers, so they decided to take something they love to do, knitting, and add a special seasonal touch to brighten the new mom's spirits. That's adorable. Hey, well, thanks so much for wrapping up your Saturday night with us. I hope you had a lovely Christmas, and I hope you'll stop by tomorrow for more KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Have a great night, and stay safe out there.